Welcome back to another Lady Savage video. Today I'm going to be talking about prep life, being a prep wife, and pretty much anybody that you're going through a prep with, this will be for you. We've done a lot of videos on like what it's like to go through a prep, what it's like to be, Robert right now is quite a ways through his prep, and we've talked about things as being a competitor, but we rarely talk about being on the opposite side of things where you're the wife or the husband or the parent or the child or a friend or anything like that to someone who is going through a prep, which is very different. So this is the third prep I've seen Robert through, and this is the best one by far. First of all, he's keto. The last one, he was keto as well, but we were dating, we had a lot of stress, we were about to move to Arkansas. There was just a lot of things going on, so it was a little bit more tough for us. And then the very first one that I had ever seen him through, he was eating carbs. We had just started dating, and it was just a different kind of situation. So this is the third one. And I've learned a lot in the last 3 go-arounds of this that I just thought I'd give you guys some of my advice for how to deal with certain situations when someone you love is going through a prep. So, thing number 1, I have my phone here so that I can keep track of what I'm saying. Thing number 1, why are they doing this? So, this is gonna sound weird, but this is not about you. This has nothing to do with you. It's all about them. And that sounds weird to say because you're like, duh, they're the one that's going through the prep. But stop being selfish to them because they are going through something really hard. They're doing it because they're trying to prove something to themselves or something in general. And you need to be proud of them for the choice that they are making. This is something that they're choosing to do because A, they love it, they want to prove themselves something, for whatever reason it is that they're choosing to do this, you stand up and you support them. I don't care if you don't believe in it, I don't care if you think it's stupid, I do not care. You support them as an individual because you love them. So remember that this is not about you, don't make it about you, make it about them. Number 2. Prep food or go out of your way to do things for them. Sounds silly because you're like, it's their choice that they're doing this. Like, I shouldn't have to do extra things because they chose to do this. However, if you want things to run smoothly, then offer to do things. The first prep, Robert and I weren't super close, so I didn't do anything for him extra. I didn't really understand the way of living and like what prep life was like. But the last one and this one, I've prepped every meal Robert's eaten in his entire prep. He trusts me to weigh and measure everything properly, and it saves him a lot of time and energy and efforts doing things as simple as making food. So if you're a husband and or a wife and you have a little extra time, like go out of your way to make sure that they have everything that they need to be successful, and that will go such a long ways for you. Understanding their exhaustion. That also sounds silly because you're like, they're tired because they're putting in all this effort and I shouldn't care. But they're tired. They're exhausted. They're putting their body through something that most people will never choose to go through. They are choosing to do it because of whatever reason they have to do it. But they are tired. They're doing more cardio. They're working out just as hard, if not harder. They're at a deficit of food possibly. Now in the beginning of a prep, it's pretty easy. And then you slowly transition into like getting harder and harder and harder, and you add a little bit more pressure. I don't care if you're keto, I don't care if you're eating carbs, I don't care what kind of diet you are, if you're carnivore, whatever. A prep done properly is going to be hard. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be miserable, because for some people it's not. Robert is doing awesome. He's doing amazing. He's a little bit irritable, but that is bound to happen. It's bound to happen to anyone pushing their body past the limits of normal human. So there's that. So just understand their exhaustion. Be willing to go to bed a little early with them, or, not do any crazy extra activities and expect them to be on point. The last prep that we went through, I believe that's when it was. I think it was either my sister's baby shower or my grandpa passed. And that was the first time Robert had met my family. And I was so disappointed and so frustrated at him that he wasn't like full effort and full energy. And that was my mistake, because I asked him to be there with me and he just didn't have the energy. The poor guy had we drove all night to California from Washington State. It was like a 17-hour drive or however long it was. And I asked him to go above and beyond, and I was not understanding. But now I would understand, and I would say, hey, let's think about this, and let's leave a night early, or let's, do something else. Maybe I'll drive longer. Whatever it takes to make it just a little easier on them. They don't want to be irritable. They don't want to be frustrated. So just go the extra lengths to be there for them and understanding their exhaustion, because it really does feel like that. So this is a time for you to grow. You as an individual, as a prep wife, as a prep husband, as a prep friend, whatever you are, this is a time for you to grow. It's a time for you to be pushed past your comfort zone and see what their needs are more than yourself. That's one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can choose to say. Just think about them before you think about yourself, and this is a really good time to practice that. Now, I'm not saying every single day, especially if they have kids or something like that. It's a little bit harder, but this is a time for you to grow and for you to take the step above what they even need and just be there for them. The last one is, this is a really short period of time in life. It's really short. What are they prepping for? 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 10 months, not even a year. Most people don't prep for a year. That's a really long time. But it's a really short period of time. They're pushing themselves as hard as they possibly can. And the best thing you can do is understand that. It's a short period of life. Be patient with them. Grow your patience. Grow your understanding, and be the most respectful, patient, kind person that they have in their life. Even when Robert's irritable, I can read it all over him. He doesn't even have to tell me, and I've already forgiven him. And honestly, he's doing really, really well this prep, and I'm honestly so impressed with him. But another really good way to go about things, rather than blaming them your attitude, or you're this, or you're that, or you're whatever, a really good way to go about it is just saying, hey, do you notice at all that you're being a little bit different, maybe? Or how are you feeling during this prep? Are you feeling at all more irritable or more tired? Or just ask them how they're feeling. Ask them if they can recognize it in themselves. If they're being a little bit more short with your children, then say, hey, do you think that is normal? Or do you think that maybe you're overreacting just a little bit because you might be more tired or you might be more exhausted? But give them an out. Have them understand that hey, I am here to support you, but also maybe let's read into this a little bit more and maybe not be so aggressive or something like that. There are such nice ways of going about it, but everyone thinks that being with someone who's going through a prep is really hard. And it can be. It's not as fun because you can't go out and eat. You can't do this. You can't do that. But I don't flaunt food around Robert. I eat when we're eating together, or I'll have food by myself, or I'll go out with a friend and have a meal if I really want to eat out. But I don't flaunt food around him, and I don't try and tempt him, and I don't try to deter him away from his goals and his dreams, because when he is happiest, I am happiest. When he is succeeding, I am succeeding. And it goes for the opposite. So imagine you doing this and you going through this and you pushing yourself the hardest you've ever pushed yourself in your life. Flip that role and treat them the way that you would want them to treat you, and just try and put yourself in their position, whether or not you will ever compete or whether or not you will ever do whatever. Luckily for me, this go around, I've actually done a competition myself. May not ever do one again, but it was worth understanding the ins and outs of it. It was worth understanding why he felt the way he does or whatnot. But just put yourself in their position. Be there for them the best that you could possibly be, and love them even though sometimes they might be a little bit more irritable. I hope this is really helpful. I wish that there was someone that told me what it was like a little bit before, like the first or second competition that I saw Robert through. But I promise you, on that competition day, they will be the most happy, they will be the most excited, and they will be so grateful for you that you put up with some of their junk that they put you through. And honestly, it's really not that bad. Again, it's a short period of time. Don't make it miserable. Make it a little easier for them. Go out of your way, grow your patience, and just do your best. Do your best to support them in the best way that you possibly can. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. Please feel free to message me, comment below, whatever is best for you. If you are doing this, if you have questions, if you have concerns about someone going through prep or what to expect, I am all open to questions and concerns and all of those things, so feel free to send those through. I love all of you guys, and I will talk to you soon. I'll post another video next Monday. See you guys.
Yeah, I can't bury.
That's not your face.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. What's something like, you could do something funny like you're smirking. Oh yeah. Or is that how you feel in prep? Or do you feel like, haha, sucker, you have to deal with me?